So the number one thing, going back to the grandfather of all, the grandfather of personal development for all of us, is handling the fears that we have. And there's the fear of poverty, the fear of loss, there's the fear, pain of regret, and then there's the fear of death, and then there's so many fears, but usually it's in a couple of these categories. What's important for you to do is, it doesn't matter what the fear is. When our fears come up, most people will combat that fear. They will fight that fear, and they will get agitated, they will get angry. So when you experience any kind of fear and that fear comes up, what we naturally do is we either shrink back, we become passive, we avoid the situation. We find a defense mechanism. Whatever that defense mechanism for you is, that you are not allowing yourself to go into that challenge and to get through that challenge. Now, to combat a challenge is not always the best thing to do. Sometimes it is better to just let it pass. It's kind of like not taking it personally, not getting engaged in it, not allowing your state of mind to shift to a negative state of mind and tanking your energy. Sometimes it's better to just allow that fear and sit with that fear and allow it to pass through you, or to become one with you, and see what the fear is really trying to teach you. When you can embrace your fears and allow it to just happen and be there, and accept your fears, you can actually start to breathe more, relax more. You could just have a space where that, and then when you're in that space where you could just sit with that fear, the next thing is you come up with the right solution. And we're all intelligent beings. We all have a very powerful mind. And if we can't think from our mind, Dr. Deepak Chopra talks about, our soul steps in, our higher self. And so a lot of my programs are now under Soul Mastery for Success for that reason. Because if we cannot do it, then our community helps us. The people that are in our support network, our current team is over probably, I would say, 30 to 40 people that are providing feedback for us on a daily and weekly basis to help us to improve. And I really, really appreciate your feedback. So when you get into that clear space of clarity, sometimes what I do is I just take a nap. Einstein used to go to sleep with a pen and paper. He would ask his higher self or his subconscious a question. He'd go to sleep with a pen and paper. And, sometimes I would wake up at like the middle of the night, get to my computer and type out an idea for my book or something like that. And it's a powerful idea. Because our higher self and our subconscious mind is able to come up with things that we're not normally able to do. But because of that fear, because of that chaos, because of that challenge, we're presented with a new opportunity, a new beginning, if you will, a chance to really shine and to be successful. If we allow it to take us down and we combat it and we fight with it, then, chances are we won't grow. But if we can just let it be, let it pass, and then we come up with a strategy or a plan, which Napoleon Hill called a definite plan. And I work with plans, and sometimes the plans work out, but most of the time plans are like, there's steps for us to take the next step forward, but we might come up with a better idea 5 minutes later because we're like, okay, this didn't work. So we have to learn as entrepreneurs to course correct very quickly. As entrepreneurs, we can't just hang on an idea that's causing failure. For example, there are industries that we've lost. For example, Blockbuster Video. We have to look at the context of the marketing. That's why Marketing Mastery for Success, the 7-figure online platform for $1 million brand, is such a successful program or a product, because it actually allows us to plan for a whole year, 2 years, and the rest of our lives. That what if, and these are our fears, these are personal fears that come up. What if I don't go to work today? Who's going to take care of, X, Y, Z? And we know that we have financial products like life insurance and or, disability insurance and or long-term insurance or long-term disability. We have financial products that can help us to alleviate some of that stress. But from a day to day, we if we don't get up and go to work every day, it can lead to a lot of problems. The other problem is that we may have total freedom of money, but our business is completely dependent on us, so we don't have a highly leveraged platform that allows us to have total freedom of our time. So what that does is our fears kick in, and a lot of businesses, even if they've earned, tens of millions of dollars, people have lost hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they, I had a question, why do billionaires commit suicide? Most of us that are not at a billionaire level would be like, well, they have like a few $100 million, but in that mindset, they don't see it that way. They see it like, I've lost this much. I've lost like half of my, half of my company or my life savings, and it's, the pain is the same. A lot of times people think that just because someone's beautiful or they're wealthy or they're rich or they're successful, they're perfect and they don't have problems. I don't think that's true. All of us have our own insecurities, our doubts, our fears, the things that hold us back. And if this is what the business magazines are telling me are our top challenges, I didn't realize, but over 3 years ago, I moved from, being an accountant to I'd hand my clients, capital anywhere from, 5 or 6 figures or more, and 7 figures, 8 figures. And I'd come back 2 or 3 years later, when I moved out of accounting into consulting and coaching, and they would lose that money. And I would be like, well, we cleaned everything up, we paid the mortgage, we had the business. It's because they did not have an upgrade for their mindset shift and how they manage their money. So that is is at the heart of your fears. And so because of that stress in business, it kind of, I use the word manifest, but it appears in all these different faces. But if you look at all those different faces that your fears are taking, at the end of the day, it's the same thing. And the solution is to find the exact strategy and a plan, and the way to do that. If you're in a position of leadership, you're a CEO, a CFO, you're a manager, bring your team together in a case, a kind of like don't do it in such a way where everyone's going to start battling with each other, but have like an exact, okay, here's our company's current challenge, okay, and your management team, we bring your management team together and kind of pick one topic or one focus and hand it to the team to come up with a solution, to brainstorm what would be the solution. That would be part of your plan. That would be leveraging your team so that you as the leader, you as the business owner, you as the entrepreneur is not bringing that home to your personal life, which then affects your personal relationship, and then you get, totally overwhelmed. Instead, you now have feedback from your team. Now you can develop a strategy and a plan, and you can just go on Google or YouTube and look for a video on how do I overcome XYZ challenge, whatever this challenge is that's causing you to have all of these fears. Once you've identified that fear and you found a solution for that problem, then look in the marketplace if there is somebody that you can leverage that has been very successful in solving that problem. If you could hire that person, now you're not stuck having to figure out all of that, all of that pain by yourself. What you could do with that after is where most people fail. They kind of keep talking about things, and we've seen like so much of that in the education and the in things that where we buy programs and we learn and we invest in continuing education. It's like the forever student, but we never actually have a team that can implement that strategy and get it done for you. So now you've learned these strategies, you're trying to implement it, and it's taking forever. In the meantime, your company's revenues are kind of going backwards, and now you've hit a real lull in your sales team, and you're struggling. And if you're hitting all of these, that's where marketing mastery comes in. Marketing is just a series of campaigns or plans or a theme that will allow you, that you plan for your business ahead of time. Remember, I talked about the 3 main legs in business. My first video last week was about the accounting leg and understanding recurring revenue and your profit and loss. This week, I'm talking about sales and marketing. If we don't understand the second leg for, for success in business, chances are we're not going to be in business very long, or we're not keeping up with the industry